Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Later in the show, Becky Ballard will tell us about Rosie's House, a music academy for children. And we'll chat with Carrie Martin, a jeweler whose desire is to create inspired timeless heirlooms that represent her Dene and Zuni heritages. But right now, executive producer Susan Levy talks with Patricia Dimitriou and Bree Marshall about the upcoming Thunderbird Throttle motorcycle benefit ride event.
I'm Susan Levy, and in the studio with us today is Patty Dimitriou, Thunderbird Throttle motorcycle benefit ride event founder, and Bree Marshall, communications coordinator from Phoenix Indian Center. Welcome, Patty and Bree. It's an honor to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Good to see you.
It's nice to see you both in person and have you here. Super excited. Patty, I haven't seen you in ages, so you look fabulous. And Bree, you always do. So it's nice to see you. So before we get started, Patty, first, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I am actually originally from New Mexico. I grew up on the Navajo reservation in a really small community called Pruitt, New Mexico. Most of my family is still in the area. And after college, I migrated up to the Valley of the Sun to establish my career and get involved in some community efforts. Most recently, I've spent quite a bit of time and had some wonderful adventures in my new, community, and that is riding motorcycles. I've been riding for about 5 years now, and after having to go back up to the reservation for a few years to handle some family issues, I am back in the valley, and I'm happy to get reconnected with folks like you, and it's just great to be here.
I did not know you were riding motorcycles. So that's pretty cool. All right, and Bree, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'd love to say something as exciting as I ride motorcycles. My name is Bree Marshall. I'm the communications coordinator with the Phoenix Indian Center, and I am an Arizona native. Lived in Phoenix my whole life, and I've been with the Phoenix Indian Center now for almost 11 years.
Well, I'm so glad you're here in person, and I've worked with both of you for a long time, and I'm just glad you're here. So, Bree, let's start with the basics. Can you tell me something about Phoenix Indian Center and all your awesome programs?
Absolutely. So, the Phoenix Indian Center was actually the first urban Indian center in the nation of its kind, and we've been around for 76 years. Celebrated our 75th anniversary last year, so coming off of a lot of events celebrating that. We have 4 main core service areas. We service the community in areas of workforce development, helping people get back into the workforce or helping to elevate themselves within their current line of work. Also youth development. So that program is for urban American Indian high school students that are preparing for life after high school, whatever that might look like. So we have a lot of career and college readiness programs to help them really just figure things out. We have our prevention services, and that focuses on drug and alcohol prevention, but also suicide prevention, parenting programs for those raising urban American Indian children, and how to keep culture relevant and consider culture when doing that. And then we have our language and culture revitalization programs where we have things like language classes, weaving classes, culture classes, and programs, not just for adults, but for youth as well. And recently we have started to focus on civic engagement and the power of the Native vote. So definitely a lot of good things going on. We touch as many families as we can in any way that we can.
You guys do such an amazing job, and you're so present in the community, and I love all the programming and all the events that you've been doing. Just an amazing job, and you all had a great shindig last year for your 75th, so congratulations on 76 years.
Thank you.
I heard that Phoenix Indian Center is doing the Thunderbird Throttle motorcycle, that's a lot of words, motorcycle benefit ride with you all. Can you tell me, what is that?
Yeah, you bet. It's a good question, and it is a mouthful.
That's a lot of words. Yeah. Thunderbird Throttle.
The Thunderbird Throttle is a benefit ride that we came up with to try to create some support for Native American youth, and specifically around the issue that we have seen our Native youth interested in building awareness on, and that is the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Peoples effort. So I'm a big supporter of all of our urban Indian social service organizations, Native Health, obviously Phoenix Indian Center, and others, and had some discussions. I reached out to the leadership there and asked them, where can we really make an impact for our Native youth, and how can I pair that with my passion for motorcycle riding? We did an awareness ride partnering with the Indian Center and the Phoenix Indian Medical Center about 4 years ago, and there was such strong support and enthusiasm for that. We thought we got to do something else. So we came up with this concept, and we reached out to the Arizona Bike Week organization. Arizona Bike Week is one of the largest motorcycle rallies in the country. It occurs every April, and they attract on average about 75,000 people come into the valley to ride motorcycles, explore all that subculture has to offer. And what's interesting about it is they've never had a Native American aspect or experience to it. So we thought, why not pair this phenomenal event with what we as a local community have to offer. Arizona has one of the largest concentrations of tribes and Native American cultures in the country. So we are now after lots of conversations that happened very quickly, we are the only Native American ride during Arizona Bike Week, and we are sanctioned by this organization.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we've put together an incredible program, and we expect to ride over 150 miles that day with stops in several tribal communities, cultural performances, speakers from the Native American youth leadership organizations, and we want to pair a wonderful celebration of our culture with building awareness around an issue that's important and enjoying the beautiful weather that Arizona has to offer during Arizona Bike Week for all of us motorcycle enthusiasts. So it's really an interesting cross-section of people, but I think it's going to be a good time, and it's definitely a great it's benefiting a great cause, which is our youth and the MMIP issue.
Okay, so I'm going to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's a ride, right? Okay,
That's right.
And you're starting where?
So we are kicking off the ride, starting off at the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation's property, Wekopa.
Okay.
They've agreed to host our registration. And at that stop, we are planning on doing a beautiful blessing of the bikes and the motorcycle riders with some traditional medicine people. And then once the riders are mounted up, we are heading through the beautiful Arizona desert over to the Gila River Indian community, and our stop there will be at the Huhugam Heritage Center. At that stop, we will have the beautiful dance group, the Chechino Spirit Autumn Dance Group, and tentatively, the newly crowned Miss Gila River Indian community will be speaking to us as well. From there, kickstands up, we are heading downtown to the Steele Indian School Park. We are delighted to have a wonderful traditional lunch presented by one of our indigenous caterers. Can I say their name? Okay, let's let the cat out of the bag. Emerson Catering, which is
Emerson Fry Bread?
Emerson
Yeah.
Fry Bread, that's
Yeah,
right.
Lauren.
You cannot have a fun lunch and shindig without breaking out some fry bread, right?
Yep.
So Emerson will be providing lunch to all the riders and volunteers, and we will have a phenomenal performance by a young lady named Sierra Herricks, who is a hoop dancer. We're going to pair that with another youth dance group from the Ginger Torres dance group. And this is going to really give us an opportunity to speak about the missing and murdered Indigenous persons issue, since we have an hour there. Once everyone has lunch, we are mounting up and we are heading over to the West Valley, and we're going over to the Desert Diamond Casino. There we will have an amazingly powerful performance by the Sky Dancers. So they do this beautiful performance dressed in traditional garb, and they do sign language to the song Remember Me. And if you've never heard that song, it's just I have goosebumps right now talking about it. It's a soulful, beautiful song about missing and murdered Indigenous people, and how when they are gone, we can't forget them, right? We have to remember the missing people from our community. So these are young people that do sign language to this beautiful song. We are going to also have some spoken word by Sumaya Quitugua. I hope I'm saying her last name right. And Berdina Riggs. So from there, everyone will get back on their motorcycles and we'll complete the final leg of the ride. We will be heading up and around back over to the actual Arizona Bike Week event space at Westworld, and it is called the Power Yard. So there we will have some welcoming words from our wonderful partner, the Phoenix Indian Center, and we will also have a final drawing for folks that participated on the ride. And the most, I think, spectacular aspect of this, we will be able to experience a beautiful performance by the Indigenous Enterprise. It's a collective of artists who are performers. They work in fashion. They work in film. They've performed all over the world with major sports teams and opera house. They were featured in Vogue magazine. I could go on and on about our performers, but it's just going to be a spectacular performance. And you know what's really fun about this whole thing? I think we're going to try and get the CEO of the Phoenix Indian Center, Jolana Begay Krupa, on a motorcycle. Wouldn't that be something to see?
I'd like to see that one.
Yeah.
So I have a couple questions for you. What if I want to participate and I don't have a motorcycle?
I love that question. I absolutely love that question. And it's something that we come across oftentimes in our benefit ride experiences. People don't really realize this, but a lot of the motorcycle culture is very much about giving. A lot of folks that ride have not only a passion for riding, but also riding for a cause. You hear that all the time around the motorcycle community. And they're also pretty inclusive. You know, some of these biker guys can look a little scary with their tattoos and their crazy beards and all of that, but they're actually a really cool group of folks, especially amongst the Indigenous riders. So if you don't ride a motorcycle, if you don't have a motorcycle, you are absolutely welcome to attend. What we call folks that don't ride a motorcycle but want to participate on our rides, they are caging it, because they're in a car, which we call cages. So you are welcome to come participate in the ride. You can follow the motorcycle motorcade at the back if you want to drive behind us, or if you want to just meet up at one of the stops and enjoy the cultural performances or want to learn more about the issues and really hear from these wonderful Native youth that are so well spoken about so many issues. Everyone is welcome. Riders, non-riders, youth, elders, and most importantly, we would love to see families impacted by this issue at these events. We have seen in other MMIW or MMIP motorcycle events across the country, families come out, and this is a wonderful opportunity to be seen, to be recognized, to continue this healing journey, or whatever we want to call it. It is a gathering to show respect and to honor for families that have been going through these issues.
So what's the goal? You said it's to raise funds, or?
So we've got several goals within all of this. We want to raise awareness around missing and murdered Indigenous peoples. Absolutely. We want to offer support and raise funding for our Native American youth through our partnership with the Phoenix Indian Center. We also want to showcase the beautiful profile and aspects of our Native communities in Arizona. And then we want to offer a fun opportunity for motorcycle enthusiasts when they come to Arizona. Ultimately, we want everyone to enjoy themselves, to be safe, to honor and recognize Native youth and the issue. But as an event founder and a fundraiser, I really do want to raise money for our kids. There is so much that we can do for them to provide a brighter, bolder future. And folks, let's be honest, that takes money. We need to support our kids, and we need to reach into our pocketbooks to do that.
I think it sounds like a lot of fun, and you're going to lots of great places and doing lots of things. We had Ginger Sykes Torres on our radio show before. We had Lauren from Emerson Fry Bread. We had Chris DeSella from Chichino Dancer. So we've had, lots of people that we know.
All right.
Awesome.
You've got a good crowd. So tell me, Bree, how do people register for this event? Is it you said, Patty, it's open to everybody, right? Anybody, motorcycle rider, non-motorcycle rider, car people. How would somebody register?
So registration, as Patty mentioned, is open to everyone, and we will be taking registrations all the way up until the day before the event, so all the way up until March 31st. And registration is being done on the Phoenix Indian Center website. So if you visit www.phxindcenter.org and click on Thunderbird Throttle under events, you will come to this event page and you can register right on that page.
So Bree, another question. Are you active on social media? It's Phoenix Indian Center, and is any information on there about it?
Absolutely. So this information is on the Phoenix Indian Center page. You can also find information about the Thunderbird Throttle on the Res Riders social media platforms. This is an event on Facebook, so you can get there any which way you turn.
This sounds like so exciting. I wish I had a motorcycle. A little one. A little slow one.
I can find a guy that maybe will let you ride on the back. How about that?
Little slow
We'll get you a helmet, everything.
We have plenty of people that have passengers, Susan, so be careful there.
That's right. Okay, so again, Patty and Bree, again, when and where is the Thunderbird Throttle Motorcycle Benefit Ride?
Okay, yeah, let's make sure everyone knows when and where. It is on Saturday, April 1st at the Wecopa Casino property. That's where you will go for registration. It starts at 8:30 a.m. Kickstands up at 10 a.m. and off to the races we go. You can find also more information about the event on the Arizona Bike Week website. We are the only Native American sanctioned event with their whole program. So you're welcome to visit that as well.
Sounds pretty fun.
And while we're doing on-site registration, I will say a benefit of pre-registering for this event is that you get an awesome swag bag. And in that swag bag, there is an event t-shirt. There are promo items from all of our wonderful partners. There's an event water bottle, and there's also Power Yard wristbands. So along with this, our registered folks are getting a wristband to be able to take part in the awesome activities going on over in Westworld at the Arizona Bike Week Power Yard.
I don't know. The t-shirt sounds the best to me.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Bree. Oftentimes these benefit rides, you do get some sort of little goodie bag, but the Phoenix Indian Center, the Thunderbird Throttle, and their sponsors have worked hard to make sure that they get some really amazing value for signing up for this ride. And the shirts are awesome. They really are.
But not just the value. I think it's that you're making a difference and you're contributing to something important and good and helping the youth and bringing awareness to MMIP. So I think that's all super important. Thank you so much, Patty and Bree, for coming on. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been great to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks. So happy to be here.
Up next, Susan Levy talks with Becky Ballard. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix. 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Susan Levy. In the studio with me today is Becky Ballard, CEO of Rosie's House, a music academy for children. Welcome to the show, Becky.
Oh, I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you so much for having Rosie's House and having me on.
Well, we're super excited and can't wait to learn more. So let's start with the basics. What is Rosie's House?
Rosie's House is a community-based organization. We're a nonprofit organization. We've been in Phoenix, this is our 27th year in the Valley. And we were founded by a wonderful woman named Rosie, hence the name Rosie's House. We provide the community with 100% free after-school music education. And through that, have the opportunity to serve youth and have them achieve their personal goals.
I know you said Rosie's House has been in existence for 27 years, and where's it located?
Yeah, great question. We've moved around a bit, and we just finally, I'm so delighted to say we have a new permanent facility at 9th Street and Jefferson, so right downtown, right on the light rail, right on the bus line, right by Chase Field is our central campus, and that's where we do all of our after-school programming for the community.
So is this open to anybody? Any children?
Yeah, so our mission at Rosie's House is to provide free access to music education. So we work with families who qualify for HUD assistance. Generally speaking, it's low to moderate income families that we work with. So if you are a family who has that qualification, then your children would qualify for our program.
So would that also be if they qualify for Access, SNAP, and TANF?
Exactly, yes. If you're qualifying for those benefits, you would qualify for Rosie's House.
And that would also be free and reduced lunches, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if I had a child that was interested in playing or interested in music, what would be the first step?
That's a great question for all the parents and caregivers out there. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, my kiddo has some musical talent, or hey, I just want them to be involved in something fun after school, something that builds the brain and builds character, the first thing you would do is go on our website, rosieshouse.org. And from there, you want to click on the enrollment tab. And in that section, you'll see all the information. Those income requirements that we just talked through would be listed there, as well as how to sign up to submit an application as a new family. And so your first step, go online, submit an application as a new family, pick an upcoming date. We have 2 in June where we're doing our enrollment events. So you would select which date you want to attend. It's a Saturday. And you'd submit that application, select which date you'd like to attend, and then we would communicate with you all the details for that enrollment event.
So how often are the enrollment events? Is it like every quarter, every other month?
So we do them every June, and then we'll often do them in January as well, a little bit depending on funding and what's available in terms of open classes. So if you submit an application as an interested family, we'll have you on our list, and anytime we have an enrollment day, we'll notify you of that opportunity.
Okay, so if I apply and then you call me, then what happens next? Do I bring my kiddo in, and are they trying out, or is it an automatic that they've been accepted?
Yeah, so you would come in for that enrollment day. You'd bring your kiddo. They would have an opportunity to sit down with one of our teachers. You and your kiddo would sit down with one of our teachers. You talk through the open classes, your child's age, their interest. We'd select a class that they would want to be participating in, and then your name would go into a lottery. Because we do have quite a few families interested in the program, we have more demand than classes that we have. So your name would go into a lottery, and then at that point, we would be selecting lottery winners, quote unquote, a few weeks later, and then we would notify you of your acceptance or not acceptance, depending on that lottery.
So what kind of, is it, so these are not one-on-one lessons, right? It's like a class?
There's a variety of classes that we offer. We offer one-on-one. Typically, that's for students that have had some musical experience. So if a student or child is interested in that, you would indicate, experience in that one-on-one interview at the enrollment day. We also have group classes for beginning students, so piano, violin, viola, cello, choir, band, and orchestra. Those are all group classes. And then we also have a mariachi program, which is very popular that students can be a beginner in, as well as digital music.
That's a lot of classes.
We have a lot of classes. Next year, we'll be providing over 25,000 free music lessons to the community.
That's a lot. And so how many kids are enrolled now into Rosie's House?
We have about over 550 students enrolled currently, and students come after school. So, let's say your child was interested in piano. We have so many kiddos in our piano program. They would be assigned a class once a week, and they would come for that hour once a week, take lessons, and then also practice at home on the piano that we provide each student.
They get a piano?
It's a keyboard, but yeah, it's a piano.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
It's really fun. It's really fun, Susan. We so all of the students that participate at Rosie's House have the opportunity to also get a free loaned instrument from Rosie's House. So if you're thinking, oh, that's so cool, the lessons are free, but I can't afford a violin, don't worry. Rosie's House has you covered. We have violins. We provide those to our students.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
It's a lot of fun.
So what's the youngest age that you take kids?
So our youngest age is actually pre-K. So we go pre-K through 12th grade. And so that class, the one for our youngest learners, is called Music Explorations. And it's a little bit of a hybrid between singing and rhythm activities, really a lot of movement. It's more of a general music class where kids learn the foundations of music. And then from that class have the skills that they might use in something like choir or piano or violin.
That's pretty cool. And how are you funded?
So we are funded by a blend of amazingly generous people and foundations and also some government support. So we are really incredibly honored to have the support of our community, believing that all kids should have access to creative experiences. And so, yeah, we have a large pool of individual donors that support us every year. We also have the tax credit opportunities, and we also have foundations and government support as well.
Do you have any kids that have started young and gone through your program for 5 years? As you said, that's the average. And then have they gone on to either musical careers or something?
Yeah. Thank you for asking that question. So, yes, we have many students who are with us more than even 5 years. I mean, the stories I can tell you about students that started as kindergarteners and then graduated from high school and were the whole way with Rosie's House. So in terms of a success story, one that I would love to tell you is about one of our alums, Ivan Martinez. He's actually now on the Rosie's House Board of Directors. So for our listeners, he's actually my boss. And he started as a student at Rosie's House. I remember him as a saxophone student. And he came through our program. Through his opportunity at Rosie's House, he had the one-on-one lesson in saxophone. He went to Central High School, graduated from Central High School, went into the Navy, and then after the Navy, was going to college and having those opportunities. And now he is in tech. He actually works at a really prominent large tech company as a software designer. And he credits his experience in teamwork and collaboration and in learning music with giving him the skills to be successful in tech. And so now he's come back, he's back in the Valley, and he's serving on our board of directors. And he's just one of many of our alums that have gone on to college and on to career and achieved their aspirations because of the foundation that they say music gave them for their brain and for their character and for their perseverance as a young person.
And that's what I hear, is that you need music or some creative outlet, and that really, well, obviously makes you more well-rounded and able to do things. But I know there's supposed to be a reason if it's right brain or left brain, but anyway.
Well, music is one of those really interesting subject matters that actually uses both. And there's differing ways of talking about it, but basically when you're doing music, you are using all of your brain. Your whole brain is lighting up. And so it really helps with executive function in the brain. And that's what they say leads to higher cognition and also in leadership and other skills for people. So it's a really powerful subject matter. And I think that you hit on something really important, and that's an outlet, right? So also our youth right now are going through a lot. There's a lot of things on their mind, and music is an outlet for creative expression. It's a place to express, what they're feeling. It's a place to take solace. And so music is important for so many different reasons.
And I would think stress relief,
anxiety, depression, all those things with music that, there's no magic cure, but it's a helpful activity to be involved in if you're experiencing any of those challenges.
That's so important. I think, especially with COVID, that a lot of these youth are struggling and have had a really tough time.
Yeah. And to be at Rosie's house, you're in a community. So you're surrounded by peers that enjoy things similar to what you enjoy, and peers who enjoy music, who enjoy being successful, who are all coming together to make music. So there's an instant peer group at Rosie's house. So we have, high school and teenagers from all over the Valley, and they come to Rosie's house and they find some of their best friends.
So obviously they stay together, sort of like a cohort. So if you're like Piano 101, then you would move up and you would stay with those friends.
Exactly.
And develop relationships and keep in touch with them.
And cheer each other on. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So Becky, I know you mentioned that you have after-school classes. Do you do anything on Saturdays for parents that work? What about, are there any snacks for kids or families if they're hungry? What else do you do for the community?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we provide programming on Saturdays. So if a family can't come after school on a weeknight, a Saturday class is a great option. And we also have food service every night and on Saturdays, where we provide any child under 18 who walks in the door with a free meal. It's in partnership with St. Mary's Food Bank, and it's a great service, and we have a lot of families that really benefit from that opportunity.
Yeah, they're a great organization also.
They are. Shout out to St. Mary's.
Yep, shout out to St. Mary's. So that's awesome. So then people can come, the kids can get the meal, they can get their education, and then the families, are they welcome to hang out and watch and just be on site?
Yes, absolutely. In our new building, we made sure there was a really lovely youth and family center for our families to just hang out and be in our space while their child is taking a lesson.
How are your teachers? Are they certified? Do they have a background in music? Or who are they and where do they come from?
Such a great question. So our teachers are amazing. We have 24 teachers on our team, and the majority have a master's degree or higher on the instrument that they're teaching at Rosie's house. Wow. They're very well credentialed. They are not volunteers. They're actually paid members of our team. So we invest in our teachers and having high quality programs at Rosie's house.
That's awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
Pretty amazing.
Thank you.
I can tell you're totally passionate about what you do.
Oh, I love it. I've been doing it for 14 years. So, I mean, if you love something, you stick with it. And it's been an absolute pleasure and privilege to have the opportunity to work at Rosie's house and to work with all the amazing people that make our mission possible.
Well, you're a perfect spokesperson for it, too.
Oh, thank you, Susan.
You're like beaming with, you're so excited about it. So one last question. How can listeners learn more about Rosie's House, and how can they contact you?
So the best way to learn more about Rosie's House is go on our website, rosieshouse.org. We've got so much information there. We've got information for interested families. We have information for those interested in getting involved in the mission through supporting our work. We have information about our history, our impact, our financial statements. All of that information is on our website. And if families are interested in getting involved and enrolling their child, there's the Interested Family application form on our website. So that's something that each family would need to fill out to get involved. Our phone is on the website as well, 602-252-8475. And, we're happy to answer any questions that the community has about our program.
Cool. Okay, I've got one more question I just thought of. Do you ever have an open house or anything?
We do. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So if you are a family who is interested in enrolling your child, we have a couple of opportunities coming up in end of March and April to come and have a tour of our campus while classes are happening. So those opportunities are on the website under enrollment, and you would sign up as an interested family.
Cool. Okay. Becky, thank you so much for coming on today. An amazing program. I've heard so many great things about it in the community. So congratulations and great job.
Thank you so much for having us.
Up next, Susan Levy chats with Carrie Martin. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health family advocates can help you enroll, renew, or update your access information. This can be done in person, on the phone, or via Zoom, days, nights, or weekends. It's fast, easy, and can make a difference in keeping your health care coverage. For more information, call 602-279-5262.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and on the phone with us today is Carrie Martin. She's a jeweler who has a desire to create inspired timeless heirlooms that represent her Dene and Zuni heritages. Carrie, it's an honor to have you on our show today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be on the show as well.
Well, we're super excited, and I can't wait to learn more about what you do. So before we get started, please tell us about yourself, your journey, and your background.
My name is Carrie Martin. I'm from the Navajo Reservation on the western side, a little town called The Gap. I was raised there and then also was raised in Tuba City, raised there with my siblings in our grandparents' home. And then we lived on and off the reservation for several years with my mom. She was a single mom. Oh, I forgot. In Navajo, we like to introduce ourselves with our clans. I'm born for Coyote Pass, and my paternal clans are Bitterwater, and my maternal clans are Ones Who Walk Around. And I am Zuni White Corn Navajo Edgewater. I think that's how it's said. I kind of got that all mixed up. It's all over the place. Sorry.
No, sounds perfect to me.
I think my art... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think basically my art journey kind of focuses around mainly on what personally had transpired with me back in 2018. Before then, art was never really a major focus in my life. I always felt like my siblings had all the talent, and they were artists, and they had more talent than I did. I had, a niche kind of for weaving, but it wasn't really for me. I felt like Even though I tried to weave, it never really happened. It's never really something I took off with. But after 2018, I was diagnosed with cancer, thyroid cancer. I had this ability to, after my surgery, had the ability to kind of just see things differently and focus on different aspects of who I am personally, from a spiritual aspect. And my uncle, who's very traditional, he recommended that I see a medicine man. And I'm an LDS member at Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so I'm always hesitant to kind of participate in the traditional things. But for him, he's like, go get a ceremony done, go get a prayer done. And I did at his wishes, and I went. And at that meeting with the medicine man, I had the opportunity to see a path in the ceremony where he represented fire and prayers and songs, and I was able to just see that path that he had identified. And after that, I just had these nice experiences with jewelry that would just appear to me in various places, in different places. And so I kind of started just thinking of this, hey, these are blessings, these are gifts that are being given to me, something the spiritual nature is happening, and I need to just embrace it. So I started picking up these items, and then I started working with beads, first glass beads, and then vintage beads that I would find at various vintage stores or Goodwill, secondhand stores, and I would obtain all these different trinkets, and then I would make jewelry out of them. But then I realized there was much more that I could be doing, and that's where silversmithing or metalsmithing came to be part of my life. But it took a different path during COVID, and Corn Husk, I think, kind of found me as one of the mediums that I'm now using. And so that's how I think my artist journey began, is basically that day that I met with the Navajo medicine man, and then taking that path and just kind of having those spiritual moments lead me in the direction I felt like it was taking me. And that's why I'm here now. I call it my artist journey.
I think that is a beautiful story, and I hope your health is good now, and I hope everything's fine. But I think that's an amazing story, and kind of that the gifts that you've been given, or that you're now choosing to see and work with. So you mentioned that silversmithing, beads, and then also corn husks. So what are you primarily working in now, or are you doing all three or different mediums as well?
Oh my gosh, I work with all mediums. I started out with the bead work, and then I felt like the shells that I was working with, I felt like they needed more embellishments, and I need to be a silversmith in order to add those embellishments to those shells. And so I started taking classes at ASU, because during COVID, I was home and I had bought all of these different vintage items and mediums that I wanted to work with, because I had this in mind, like I want to keep everything natural. I want to keep everything traditional. And one of the things I liked most is because when you're Zuni, they have all this corn maiden stories. And I really loved that, and I wanted to embrace that. And I loved all the little Zuni jewelry that were gifted to me that had the little corn maidens on them. And then also with the Navajo way, you think of the corn as being a spiritual entity. And I always say the corn, and people are like, why is she saying the corn? To us, everything is spiritual. And so for me, corn is a very sacred staple, not only just for the food, but it's for our ceremonial purposes. And within it, there's teachings, how the corn grows upward. And there's a time, there's so many stories, I could go into that, but that's the reason why I decided, okay, you know what, I'm sitting at home, I can't go to the studio, I can't be a silversmith right now, so what else can I work with? And I remember picking up the corn husk and the corn, and I'm like, I know I can make stuff out of this. And I just started making things. I started, creating jewelry out of it. First of all, it was kind of a weird situation, because I'm like, people are not going to like this. I don't know if they would even wear this. But I just went with it, and there were some great items that I made, and I loved it, and I just stuck with that. And then I started adding my silversmith once, after COVID, I was able to go back to class. My teacher, my professor there, she was like, you could use that corn husk design and in with your metal. And so she's the one who basically guided me into using the corn husk design on my metal work and collaborating that together and So, and that's where I'm at right now, is just using all kinds of media, but focused around the corn husk mainly at this time.
So it sounds like your artwork has really evolved or evolving and continues to evolve now that you're doing the corn husk designs and the silver, which is some of the things that I saw as well. Do you have a favorite medium to work in?
I would have to say corn husk and sterling silver. I don't know. I have so many, but I like working with both. Working with metals and working with corn husk. Corn husk, I think for me, it becomes really spiritual for me. The fact that, it's teaching me something. I understand that I go back and I start reading historical information about how important corn was to the Navajo people, going back and listening to Navajo medicines on radio talk about how important clans are and gifts that come from those things. But then it always goes back to the growth of the corn, or the changing woman and gifts that were given, that she gave to the Navajo people, and then joined to the Zunis and learned more about the Zuni heritage, about the corn maidens, and how, there were 7 of them, and they were also given that gift to have the corn in their life as food, and for other ceremonial purposes as well. And I think most of all, it's just, I've always heard my grandmother pray in Navajo, and at the end she always said, "Hojona Hastli," everything is balanced and harmony. There's joy, there's peace. And over the years, listening to that, it always came back to the Cutadine, which is the corn pollen at the top of the tassel. And we partake of that. And I remember partaking of that when I was younger, and even in my early adulthood, I always had Cutadine in my car. And to this day, I still do. And I always use it when I need it, or when I'm inspired to do so. And I've always appreciated it, and I felt protected. And so when I work with corn husk, I always do my best to make sure that I'm remembering those times and using that and trying to create something new, and not to get too into it, because there's times when I feel like metal work, it gets really complex and you get frustrated. With me, corn husk, for me, I'm able to just mold it and create things with it. So I do like corn husk a little bit more than I do with metal work. And it's not as toxic as well, too. So it's easier to work with.
So what are you doing with all the work that you're doing? Is it just for personal use, or do you have like an Etsy shop, or what are you doing with everything?
I started selling my corn husk on the website, but I noticed that I wasn't producing a lot. There was a time frame where I took like maybe 6 months and just, pushed it. And I was like, no, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. These are spiritual things that I'm working with, and I can't just like mass produce them. And I need to be more careful in how I produce them and then sell them. So I now stopped selling them on my website. There's times when I will, but now I'm more focused into the markets. I've attended the Herd Guild Indian Market last year, and then I went to Santa Fe Indian Market in Santa Fe, and then the one in Albuquerque, and then I ended it off with the Pueblo Grand. And I had met so many artists who were just very fascinated with my work. So market's my focus. And then if I can produce a little bit more, then I'll sell them back on the website.
Wow, that's a lot. Those markets, those are big ones that you're talking about. Lots of people. I know we're almost out of time. How can listeners learn more about your art, and how can they contact you or find out where you're going to be at which markets?
Go to my Instagram. It's II_SAVEDGE. It's pronounced Too Savage. And I mainly do a lot of my postings there. I have a Facebook account, but I'm not really on there. My website, you can always go there. I haven't really updated it this year. It's just been a busy year, but I'm hoping to update it for this year. And then I have, that's toosavage.com, iisavage.com. And then they can also email me at toosavage@gmail.com if they'd like to get a hold of me.
And then again, you'll be at the markets, I assume the same markets again this year, hopefully?
I hope so. I was accepted to the Herd, so I am doing that this Saturday and Sunday.
Wow, your work is absolutely gorgeous, and you're so inspiring to talk to. I'm very impressed, and I love your art. So Great job. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day. I know you've got the market tomorrow, but thank you for taking time out of your day to chat with us. We really appreciate it. And best of luck, and hope it's a great weekend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you, everybody who has supported me this far and everybody who continues to support my work. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy, sound engineer is Javier Quiroga, and our host is Lanasha Puadi. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listentoKRDP.com.